G'day everyone, and welcome to the next video in my Sketchup for Schools series. In this video we are going to be drawing this shape, which is kind of like a key shape, and there's some really cool things about drawing this shape that we're going to learn as we're going. So we're going to use some tools we've used before, such as the rectangle and the push-pull and the tape measure. We've used those before in previous videos, but in this one we're also going to learn a little bit about arcs and using arcs to create different shapes and curves, and we're also going to use the smoothing tool to get rid of any of those lines. So you can see here where the curves meet, there would normally be a line in here, but we're actually going to smooth that out so that we don't see that anymore. And we're going to do that up around here as well. So this is the shape we're going to be drawing. I'm going to start with a rectangle. And I'm going to start my rectangle with dimensions of 87 and 50. So I'm just going to draw that out. 87, 50. So I've already zoomed in, probably zoomed in just a little bit too far. So let's zoom out again and swing around. Okay. So now we've got our rectangle. Now at the one end, I'm just going to choose this end up here. We're going to add the curvy bits of our key. And we're going to use a brand new tool, one that we haven't used in any of our videos before, to do this. And that's in the arcs tool. So one of the arc tools. So we have up here just a general arc tool. We have a 2-point arc, which we will use eventually as well. The 3-point arc, which we're not going to use today. And the pie. Now the pie is the one that we're going to use first. So I'm going to click that. And over here on the corner, I'm going to click once to set it. I'm going to bring it down here. Now I need this to have a radius of 17.5. So I'll type in 17.5 and hit enter. And then I'll drag it around. Now I don't want to go straight up because that's 180 degrees. I actually just want to go one section on that protractor further than that. Okay, so there's 180 degrees. You can see I'm lined up with the red axis. I want to go one further in. And it fills it in just nicely. So this is the pie. I'm going to do that on the other side as well. So again, just going to click on that corner. Drag down 17.5. Enter. Drag that around. One past the 180 degrees. Now we've got something that looks kind of like bull's horns. Okay, so that's what we want exactly to get started. And now we're going to use a different arc tool. So that's the pie arc tool. So you can set how big you want the radius for that one. And then you can set angles and you can use the protractor if you need to. But now I need to add this little curve up here that goes the opposite way to the other two. So for this one, I'm going to use my 2-point arc. And there's a little trick with the 2-point arc. So I'm going to click on this end. Click on that end. I'm going to come to the middle and I'm going to drag it down a little bit and click. And you can see that's filled that in nicely. But I actually want a particular measurement for this arc. I want a particular radius, and I want that radius to be 50. So I'm going to go over here and get my little cursor so I can select that arc. And hopefully you can see it's gone blue. Right, so if I select the line, it goes blue. I want that blue and then entity info. And you can see this particular arc has a radius of 33 millimeters. Well, I don't want it to be 33 millimeters. I want it to be 50. So I'm going to type in 50 and hit enter. And you can see it actually changed how the arc looks. Okay, we're not currently worrying about how many segments, but we are worrying about that radius. So now I've got that arc in there. And I'm going to get rid of all the extra bits of line that I don't need anymore. So that's the top part of my line, pretty well done, on top part of my key, pretty well done. Now to focus on this bottom end. So that's this end down here. You can see we've got some curves, a lip there, and a section that's a bit missing. So let's get in and do this one. Alrighty, so measuring tape. Down here, I want a section dead center that is 10 millimeters wide. So I'm going to come across here, and I know you take 10 off 50 because that's how wide this rectangle is. Take 10 off 50, I get 40. Split that difference, I get 20. So the two edges need to be 20 in, so I can go 20. And then I can either come from this corner and do 20, or I can just go from that guide point and go 10. Right, so from there to there, we've got 10, and from there to there, we've got 20 again. Now, in to here, where that little lip was, is 45. So I want to go from one of the corners up 45. And I've got my guide points. Now, don't worry about those guide points. We are going to get rid of those later on, right when we're finished, and we don't need them anymore. But for now, we can have them in there. They're very helpful. Get my pencil tool so I can draw a line. I'm going to keep this on the green axis to keep it perpendicular. Then these bad boys will stay on the red axis for the same reason. And then I don't need any of that anymore. So I can get rid of those lines. Okay. I can also get rid of this bit in here. Next bit, we need to get the arc that comes into here, but we also need the lip. Now the lip will come 5 mil off the corners here. Alright, so that'll be 5, and this one will be 5. So the actual width of the lip from one side to the other will be 20. Okay, so we just go 5 out, and then we've got that 10 in the middle. Alright, we're going to use that 2-point arc again. So another chance to use the 2-point arc, so seeing it there. And the points are going to be this corner and the guide point. So I'm going to go corner, guide point in. I'm going to select that arc, entity info, and for these ones, I want these ones to have a radius of 25. And you can see how it changes that arc. I can get rid of the excess bits, and I can do it the same on the other side. Corner, guide point, pull in, select, change that to 25. Remove the unwanted sections. Okay. Now I want the thickness of my key to be 20 mil. So back to the old push-pull. Drag that up 20. And we've got a pretty good looking key starting to form. So we've got our thickness. We've got the top bit pretty well in. All we have to do now is create this gap, and then our circles there, our holes, and we'll be done, except for getting rid of the guides and smoothing things out. So you can see there's that line. There's no line in this one. Okay. Now the gap is 10 mils, but this is 20. So if I go up 5, and then go up another 10, so I go up 5, and then up from that guide point 10, and then it's only 35 deep, that gap. So again, we're going to follow those axes. This time we're going to follow the blue axis and the red axis. Get rid of any additional lines. And then, as we've done in previous videos, push in, click on the edge, and we don't have that section in there anymore. We've got our gap. The gap's in there really nicely. Okay. Now for the circles, the holes up here. I'm not going to draw any guidelines to find the center this time. I'm actually going to use inferencing. So this is where Sketchup will essentially guess what we want it to do. So I'm going to get my circle tool, and I'm going to just sit it on the edge here of the big arc. And then if I drag in, and it snaps to the center of that circle. So it tells me exactly where I want the center of my next circle to be, which is a radius of 10. And there it is there. Okay, I didn't have to draw any guidelines for this one. Don't have to erase any extra bits and pieces, just using the inferencing. I can do the same over here. So again, just on the edge, anywhere on the edge, drag in towards where you think the center is, and then it'll snap there for you. There's my 2 holes. Oops, don't need the eraser, I need the push-pull. Snap that to the edge. Snap to the edge, and there I have the holes of my keys. So let's smooth our surface out. To smooth the surface, I'm going to use my eraser tool. Now you'll look at the eraser tool there, and you can see that it looks like a normal eraser. It's got that little circle on the end because that's going to be targeting what you want it to see. Now if I just use that eraser on that line, it actually removes the section, and you can now see inside that shape. But I don't want to remove the section. I just want to remove the line. So if I use my modify key, now on my Mac it is the Option key. You can actually see the instruction down here. Option. On a PC it is a Control key. So Option. Now sometimes you will actually see an additional thing on there. Now once I've toggled that and I can smooth the edges, and it's telling me here that I can smooth the edges, and I just get rid of that. So I'll show you that one more time. Alright. So here I'm just erasing things. I use my modifier, and now I can smooth the edges. So I click on there and there's no line there anymore. It's nice and smooth. Do the same over here, and you can see that my eraser tool has changed a little bit. There's that little accent across it telling me that I'm smoothing edges. Okay, so there's all the edges I had to smooth out. And now I just want to get rid of the guides. I might get rid of the axes first so it looks a little bit nicer. So here, model settings. Model axes. Now I can just hide the guides, but I actually want to delete these So I'm going to go to the glasses, and there's our delete all guides. And you can see they've all disappeared now. And there we have it, all done. Now, I haven't actually gotten rid of those axes properly. One thing that you do need to remember to do when you are using the styles is click done. And then it'll save them for you. Okay. And that's it. That's how you do the key. Thanks for watching this video. Hopefully it has been insightful. Hopefully you have been able to practice those skills and you can use them in your own designs that you come up with yourself. Now, one last thing that I'm going to do, just in case I want to 3D print this, and select the whole thing. Entity info, it's not entity info, I actually want to right click and make group. Okay, I'll do that one more time. Alright, so we want to select everything, make group. And then that's all one thing and we'll be pretty well set. Alright. If there's any questions, comments, or any other shapes that you'd like to, or tools you'd like to try, drop them in the comments below and I'll see you in the next video.